it's that Call of Duty without the story mode.
This is what's great about sports. This is what the greatest thing about sports is. You play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game.
Winning isn't everything, but it's the only thing. In our business, there is no second place. Either you're first or you're last.
Ain't this what they've been waiting for? You ready?
And now, the W with Walls and the Crew.
Good morning.
Where winning isn't everything, it's the only thing. On 100.1 FM.
Good morning.
And Facebook Live.
All right. Good morning. Another Saturday morning with the W Show. As always, thank you for tuning in. Whether you're in your car on 100.1 FM or One Kansas City Radio, watching us live via the W Show KC on Facebook Live, or however you're watching us or listening to us. Thank you. Coming up on today's show, we have, as always, a lot to get into. The Kansas City Chiefs, they have finally received their Super Bowl rings. And the fake ones have hit the market finally. And we have a little bit of breaking news this morning. Deshaun Watson, he gets a new contract. We'll talk about it and see if his deal compares to Patrick Mahomes. Lathrop High School, the students go virtual after COVID-19 spreads from a football game. And there has been some news that is surprising a lot of people. Brooklyn Nets hire Hall of Famer Steve Nash as their new head coach. And while we're on NBA news, the NBA is warning playoff teams they have to maintain order among ownership because front office executives and player guests sitting courtside have caused a little bit of ruckus since they have entered the bubble. So, with no further ado, I have the other guests of the show, the other hosts of the show on the show here, DJ Q and No, and also Jazz. How are you all doing this morning?
Great. We're great.
Good. Doing great.
He was like, we're great. How was your night, Q?
It was good. We had a pretty good crowd last night. You know, kind of hate to still be working in the pandemic, but you know, it's still fun. You know, the pandemic kind of takes the wind out of it a little bit, but it's still fun.
Jazz, how was your week?
It was good. No complaints. Finishing up second week of classes. So
how was that though? Like, are they full or is it a lot of people? Well, I know you're virtual, but like, is there a lot of people in the like virtual setting?
So usually we just do like our Zoom calls and we're listening to just like a lecture from the teacher. And so a lot of people, of course, have their cameras off or muted. So really just sitting there listening. But starting to get rolling. First week, of course, was syllabus week. And now we're actually starting the real stuff. So now the stress begins.
Yeah.
No, how was your week, buddy?
Mine was good too. Just kind of got my stuff together at the new spot. Watched a ton of basketball. Just looking forward to the show this week. Quite a few interesting topics, to say the least. Especially the bomb that Q dropped earlier this morning with the Texas high school.
Yeah.
That was hilarious to me. That's just gold. That's just gold.
Well, let's get into today's headline.
And now, here are the biggest sports headlines from this week. We bring them to you every Saturday morning on the W with Walls and the Crew on 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
The Kansas City Chiefs have finally received their Super Bowl Live championship rings. And of course, the Chiefs they defeated the San Francisco 49ers 31-20 back in February during Super Bowl Live in Miami. So on Wednesday evening, the players and staff occupied their own tables inside of Arrowhead Stadium. Did you guys get a chance to check out the rings?
Yes.
Yeah.
We did.
What
Yes.
were your thoughts?
Yeah. They could have spiced it up a little bit, just a tad.
You think?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Why do you say that?
He
I don't know.
probably saw the Patriots rings from the last couple of wins, and they were it's pretty solid rings. I mean, this one, adding the gold to it, I kind of hate that. But I get it for the team colors.
Yeah, and when you look at it, of course, Justin's made the ring, but there's 122 diamonds that surround the ring, and of course, they had. It's a lot that went into, I think, making this ring. However, when you think about making a Super Bowl ring, how many different ways can you make it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even championship rings across all sports, I feel like they have a little bit of a story behind it. Like the Chiefs having the 122, 100 because of the amount of seasons, and 22 because of playoff appearances. But I don't know. I thought they were cool, but I mean, like you said, how many different ways can you make a ring? But I thought they could have, spiced it up a little bit. But
And Chiefs president Mark Donovan took to Twitter earlier this week after they received their rings and said that 700 members of what he called the extended Chiefs family will be receiving Super Bowl rings. So players, coaches, staff, ambassadors, cheerleaders, red coaters, and other members of their extended family.
Yeah, if they win again, I wonder if that happens.
yeah, that's gonna that number's getting cut down for sure.
But you know what? Their I guess counterparts across the one Arrowhead Drive, the Kansas City Royals, they gave like 400 or 500 rings.
Oh, and they won in 2015.
Yes. So I mean, I think they tried to meet or beat that. That was their goal.
Yeah.
But you see, there's a lot of rings floating around in Kansas City right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wishing that we were able to get one.
Yeah, I felt like we contributed to the tailgate experience last.
We did.
A couple years, so I feel like we put in enough work to at least get a fake one, at least maybe.
All right, Lathrop High School students go virtual after COVID-19 spreads from football games. So Lathrop High School is about 40 minutes north of Kansas City metro area. And the officials with the Lathrop School District have decided to go virtual as they start their year in less than 24 hours before their first day of school earlier this week. So one positive COVID-19 test from a coach and a teacher for students to start the year from home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's what started. They knew that's where it came from.
Well, I guess supposedly they said that it started with the coach, and then it was right after Friday night's game. So a few student athletes are reporting symptoms, and then a quarter of the teachers at the high school are now in quarantine. So
yeah, it's gonna be tough, man.
and you know what? They are. Why do you need to play football right now?
Exactly. I mean, it's that macho approach. I don't know if I shared the I always forget Kirk Cousins. I don't know if I shared his statements this week. But he's, it's that macho attitude, and I'm just, I can beat this virus up myself type of attitude. And it's like, it's not about you, guy. And it's tough to get that point across to people because they're so into being alpha male. So
a little bit of breaking news this week. Deshaun Watson and the Texans agreed to report 4-year, $160 million contract extension.
Yes.
So Watson signed that 4-year deal with the team earlier this morning, actually. Ian Rappaport had said that the NFL Network reported that he is the second largest contract in NFL history, and it's right behind Patrick Mahomes, which is, of course, his with $503 million.
Of course, well deserved. We know the level of talent that Deshaun Watson has. I mean, Chiefs fans know because he definitely put a scare into every Chiefs fan last playoffs. But he definitely deserves to be the second highest paid because obviously Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league and deserves the number one contract. But he also got the second most guaranteed money ever. So just shouts out to Deshaun Watson. So,
and you know what though, it's funny because it's like everyone puts Mahomes and Watson 1A, 1B, you know. But after Mahomes won the Super Bowl, then it was kind of, well, Watson may not be as good. But then when you look at the Kansas City Chiefs as a whole and the receiving core, of course, the tight end play, the running backs, I mean, the defense turned it up at the end of the season. So Watson doesn't have that right now.
He's going to have this year just because no DeAndre Hopkins. He's going to really earn that contract.
Yeah, I mean, this is the front office clearly is far better for the Chiefs than the Texans. I mean, the Texans have been teetering on, playoffs and being such a great regular season team. But then they do things like they've done the past couple of seasons and don't allow for the talent to support Deshaun Jackson around him. I mean, it's a head scratcher what Bill O'Brien does down there as far as moves. I don't know who in their right mind would give up, that team's basically Tyreek Hill, the guy that makes all of the plays on offense. And it's, applause for him for getting that contract. But now I'm worried about, a contract being that big with a team that doesn't have, someone like a Brett Veach. We looked at, 2 seasons ago and last season, the Chiefs not having much money to spend at all, and then turning around, a year and a half, 2 years later, to be able to do the things that they've done and still offer extensions to the GM and Andy Reid.
Yeah, well, he's definitely Veach has definitely been putting his stamp on the off season, so to speak. I've never really seen like somebody other than a player make such a big splash over an extended period of time in the off season. So shouts out to him too, because the Chiefs, I mean, just the way they're going, I feel like they're going to win the Super Bowl again, just because of the pandemic, because of no preseason games, all of that good stuff. So
one of the most important things that no one mentioned here is that he's only 24 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, you're signing a 4-year, $160 million deal at 24. So you're going to see all of that money. Whereas Mahomes is stretched over 10 years, where a lot can happen, over 10 years. Of course, there's the guaranteed dollar amount that he's going to get. However, 10 years is a long time. 4 years. You look at that and some binoculars and like, all right, I can see the end of my deal.
Yeah. And he's the highest paid over the next 4. And I mean, I love this contract, but he'll definitely get another one. I just hope that they put some talent around him.
I hope he leaves, honestly and truly. If Bill O'Brien is still the coach at the end of his 4-year contract, if they still have essentially the same front office, I was hoping he was on his way out this year, even though I knew it wasn't likely. But I just don't see it. Like you said, Q, I don't see it working out with now. He already doesn't have weapons. Now he's signed this contract. We all know that when you pay your quarterback, that's basically that's the end of it. Like you're doomed for 8-8, 9-7, maybe a 10-6.
Another Jeff Fisher.
basically. Yes. But I'm happy for Deshaun Watson. Period. Anytime we get a black quarterback paid, as you know, an angel gets his wings. So
Yeah.
Legendary Georgetown coach John Thompson Jr. He has passed away at the age of 78. So Thompson, of course, led Georgetown to the 1984 national championship and built the program into a powerhouse. So he took the Hoyas to 3 Final Fours in the 1980s, also winning the 7 Big East titles and leading the 1988 United States national team to a bronze medal in the Olympics.
Yeah, he was definitely me growing up. He was a little bit before my time, but it was crazy because I always knew who he was just because of the impact he had on the big man in the 90s. You're talking about Patrick Ewing, Alonzo Mourning, just countless other, guys that he coached, but not just like coached as in they had successful NBA careers, but more like a mentor. Obviously he's famous for, having Allen Iverson as well. And, Allen Iverson credits everything he's done as a man to basically what John Thompson taught him and his years at Georgetown. So we lost an icon basically in college basketball. I mean, just a huge one, actually.
And it's funny that you bring up Allen Iverson because we have Allen Iverson's part of his speech when he was inducted into the NBA Hall of Fame. Let's hear it.
Coach Thompson. Coach Thompson was saving my life. For giving me the opportunity. I was recruited by every school in the country for football and basketball. And an incident happened in high school and all that was taken away. No other teams, no other schools were recruiting me anymore. My mom went to Georgetown and begged him to give me a chance. And he did.
Yeah, that's huge. And Patrick Ewing, he had sent a message out earlier this week, and a lot of other players that he had coached throughout the years, they had sentimental messages as well via social media.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean for Iverson for a man like him to be able to have an impact on a player like Iverson, to really take him from, high school to, an NBA type icon, it speaks volumes for the man that he was. It was funny. A lot of people on Twitter were saying they, in the 90s, they thought Georgetown was an HBCU, and especially for the work that John Thompson put in, and being able to add that representation to a school, and bring in so many talented individuals. And then you look at, the legacy he left behind, his son coming in, a former player now, and Patrick Ewing, being able to come in and coach that team. And Pat, might not be doing the best, but still he has to resurrect a program, a very storied program, and he has big shoes to fill behind Coach Thompson. So it's just that man left a huge legacy and a mark, not only just in college basketball, but as the sport of basketball as a whole.
Really on the culture as well.
Yeah.
I would say probably pre John Thompson, it wasn't. I mean, obviously you had black players in the NCAA, but I think what John Thompson helped do is make it not only more mainstream, but make teams know that, hey, like these players, like we can be a Duke type program. We can be a UCLA, an Arizona. Like we can be like that blue blood program recruiting these type of players that sometimes the coaches don't recruit. Sometimes they don't want them at the school to fight their talent. So I think that's where he probably made his biggest mark, is getting these black players in these schools, but getting them to buy in to that. Hey, we're a program. We have we're gonna have respect for ourselves. We're not gonna have
Mhm.
scandals. We're not gonna like he ran a very tight ship. So like I said, he
Definitely.
lost a huge icon, and like I said, Patrick has huge shoes to fill.
Yeah.
And Thompson, he was, of course, inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1999. He was a pioneer, which was credited for opening the door for the generation of minority coaches. I mean,
Yeah.
in his national title run, I believe went from 1984. He was the first black head coach that. He altered the perception of being a black coach.
Hmm.
You know, I mean, because at that time, when you think about it, there weren't many,
Yeah.
and their perception of black coaches were, that they didn't have the coaching education that a lot of the other coaches had. So he definitely changed that perception, and he was a good man.
Yeah, he definitely changed the perception, but the odd fact is that the amount of black coaches have gone down since then too. So,
Literally,
even him changing the perception, racism's still a tough cookie.
So speaking of coaches, Brooklyn Nets hire Hall of Famer Steve Nash as their new head coach. So according to sources, Hall of Famer guard Steve Nash has signed a 4-year contract to become the next head coach of the Brooklyn Nets.
Hey, great segue, Steve. Great segue. It's an awesome segue. But the thing that upsets me, one, is that yes, he has no experience as a head coach. But we've seen it before. We've seen it with a couple of different players turn coach. But I know, like, even our hometown guy, Earl Watson, he still had to spend some time. His last couple of seasons, he was basically a player coach. And then, pushed into an assistant role, and then eventually becoming a head coach. But, for this, he's worked with KD and different people in the offseason. I'm sure Noel can touch on that. I hate that he's not pushed into, almost an apprenticeship like Patrick Ewing was. We saw Patrick Ewing as an assistant in the NBA for a long time. And before he could even get his shot, he's pushed to college. And he's pushed to revive a program, which, we understand. Anthony Hardaway, same thing. A really great coach. They pull him in for some recruiting, but still not the same opportunities like we've seen with John Thompson. So, you hope that, a league like the NBA could change a little bit. And especially when it comes to these players becoming coaches. But I'll let Noel speak to that, because I know he's the guy for that.
I had mixed feelings at first. Well, not at first. I have mixed feelings now, because it's
still
ecstatic for Steve Nash, former Dallas Maverick. Obviously, everybody who talks or knows about Steve Nash knows he's a great guy. Like, everybody just kind of gravitates toward him just because of, how good of a person he is. But it's impossible to ignore the, so to speak, elephant in the room about how he just can go straight from, he worked with KD in Golden State. He was a coach of sorts, definitely a coach, but the fact that he's just able to get this opportunity off the bat, it just kind of, when there's just black coaches that just don't get, they don't get that. They're not handed a KD and a Kyrie and a playoff team that more than likely will be in the Eastern Conference finals next year, and a finals favorite to win it all. That just seems like a hell of an opportunity just to hand somebody that hasn't coached one day in his, head coached one day in his life. And we know that Kyrie and KD definitely had to sign off on this being the two big free agent signings. So I understand that, and I won't say this was a bad hire. I don't think nobody thinks this is a bad hire. It's just kind of that elephant in the room, especially dealing with what we're dealing with right now. There's a myriad of other black coaches that I feel like would have fit as well, but then again, it's about winning right now for KD, and he's the main person to sign off on this. So mixed feelings, just mixed feelings. That's all. So I agree with you.
I think it was a relationship type hire.
Yeah.
Of course, Steve Nash, he had a lot of player personnel responsibilities in Golden State when they have made their run the couple years with KD, and he developed that relationship with KD. So if I don't think it was just we're gonna throw a dart and see where it lands pick. I think Kyrie being a point guard, he understands like, hey, I want somebody that can help me along the way, because I think what does he have, another 3 or 4 years there in Brooklyn? So I think both guys signed off on it, and they said, hey, this is the guy we want. Of course, a lot of people were like, hey, well, what about Ty Lue, or what about Mark Jackson? There's Sam Cassell. There's a lot of guys out there, and because they're black, people want to say, why didn't you choose the black coach? I don't think that was the deal at all. I just think that he's the guy that KD and Kyrie wanted. And then you look at, a lot of people are like, well, Mark Jackson, he seems like to be the best fit. Well, he had the Golden State Warriors for 3 or 4 years, and he had the Klay Thompson and Steph Curry and Draymond, and he couldn't get it done. So I think when you think about the Mark Jackson hire, you kind of got to weigh your options a little bit with who you're going to choose.
The basketball of it, to me, it makes sense just because of what Kyrie is as a player. He needs a Steve Nash or a Sam Cassell or those are all point guards that you named. And that's kind of what Kyrie needs to take his game to the next level. Again, relationships, KD and Steve Nash were very tight. He added stuff to his game. So it's a lot to unpack. We can't just pinpoint one thing and say, hey, that was the main reason why this happened, other than KD and Kyrie had to sign off on it. It's kind of like I said, just kind of like it's weird how it just kind of keeps happening. Nick Wright had a great segment. Shout out to Nick Wright, Kansas City, and he had a good segment on it. I think everybody should just kind of watch. He did the numbers on it, and he made it kind of make sense for everybody who was questioning whether this wasn't a racial thing. This was we get that, we understand that part, but it just kind of keeps happening, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. Coming up, we have our sneakers of the week, plus LeBron James' son, Bronny James. He joins a professional esports gaming franchise. Will that disrupt his college eligibility? We'll be right back to W.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live. Steve Walls, DJ Q, Noel. This is the W on 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Back in on the W, 100.1 FM, One Kansas City Radio. It rained earlier, but the sun is out and it's a little muggy outside. You slept right through that?
Completely.
Yeah, it rained.
I came outside and it was sunny. What did I miss?
Yeah, it's supposed to get up to 90 today. Well, let's get into our hate it or love it.
It's that time for Love It or Hate It.
Hate it.
If we love it, we talk about it. If we hate it, we move on.
All right, our sneakers of the week. These are okay, I guess. Air Jordan 1, High, OG, Biohat. You guys feeling these?
I am. I'm liking. I said it earlier in the year. I was had my eye kind of on these, but they in person they look pretty good. So.
All right.
Yeah, it's another one of those in-person shoes. I saw some photos of it, and they look decent. I wouldn't run out for them though.
They sold out like instantly too.
Yeah, quick.
All right, the Nike SB Dunk High. Are you feeling these?
I haven't liked Dunk Highs for a while, so I'm out on these just off principle.
Yeah. Look, me and Noel are on two different ends of the spectrum. I like these I like that red addition to it.
So the Nike Air Foamposite 1s. What about these? Now these are unique because they have the 1996 All-Star game on the insole. So when in Phoenix, you see the logo of Phoenix on the insole of these.
Okay. And obviously that's one that Penny attended. He was at that game, so I think that kind of makes him cool. But other than that, I mean, I ain't really a fan of.
The thing about it is, Foamposite had their run. For I think for like the past 4 or 5 years, they've had their run. Even though the OG colorways, they will never get old. However, when you start making these, I'm just like, man, nah.
I would say
stretching.
I would say in the past 3 or 4 years, they've kind of gone downhill. Like when I think around about 2009 to 2013, that was the resurgence of the Foamposite. And nowadays, they're just kind of like, whatever.
When they start making their Fruity Pebbles is when they miss me.
Yeah, they stay on the shelves. It's funny because they don't sell out like they did when I was kind of in college. So. And
then they're 230 now.
Yeah.
So with that, I'm looking at about an extra $20 or $250 on some shoes you really don't want. Nah,
they didn't hiked it up on us. They didn't hiked it up. So yeah, I'm out. I'm like, you know what? Y'all can have them. I remember my first Foamposites I bought were $199. Shout out to my mom for yelling at me for buying those when I probably shouldn't have. I know she's watching, but
All right, next up, the Nike Air Force 1 Low.
They're reaching. No. This look. The only place I want to see these is on a guy with some very big pants. Probably a Latin Cowboys fan. So
trust me, Q. He'll have an Emmitt Smith jersey on.
Of course. Look, you know the vibes.
We are a perfect fan base, but we're loyal.
Hey, and the thing about it is Air Force Ones never get, it's kind of like, they're like foams, man. They never really get old until you start making these whack colorways.
Yeah.
This is a silly colorway, honestly, but
yeah, these definitely have to go.
If you think about the number one Air Force One right now, the all whites, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
Now they have the high tops that people are getting, and so I think when you think about it, you just can't go wrong with all whites. Just stick to the all whites, and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
I would agree. At 100,000%. Just literally do whatever you want with those. I would just say that if you're going to be an Air Force person, make sure you rotating them, because nobody likes the yellow soled white Air Force One, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
The overwear is what kind of gets me. It's like, damn, you didn't turn them into like
grass cutters.
Hey, when you mow, it's like, hey, I got to mow at 8:00 in the morning. I guess I'll like I'll put these on.
Yeah, and I mean, Jasmine comes from the generation of the dirty Air Force One trend.
Oh yeah,
You know, I can't get with it. I can't get with it.
Yes, I knew I liked her for a reason.
I need that. I need my crease protectors. I don't want to see creases.
Yes.
All right, she's cool, guys. She's cool.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to the rest of our header 11.
All right. And we'll go ahead and start with LeBron's son, Bronny James, joins professional esports gaming franchise. Hate it or love it?
I hate it.
Run it.
Surprise. Why do you hate it, Steve? Why do you hate something that deals? No. Steve, why do you hate something that has to do with LeBron James?
Well, I'm gonna let Jasmine finish real quick because I'm gonna tell you why after she.
Oh, okay.
On Sunday, esports and gaming franchise Fozzy Clan announced that Bronny James, who is just 15 years old, is joining their roster under the tag Fozzy Bronny. It in fact does not affect his collegeability. Fozzy's Clan's head of communication said there's no financial relationship between the gaming organization and the top high school prospects.
That's why. So when you think about it, he's of course he's LeBron James' son, right? And go figure, the NBA will be allowing high school athletes to come into the NBA in 2023 when when Bronny James Jr. graduates. Mm-hmm. So I think it's going to affect his college eligibility. When you look at he's supposedly not getting paid for it. Since when LeBron James going to do something and not get paid for it?
Oh wait, you said it. You said his son. This is his son. This isn't LeBron.
It doesn't matter. He's still the branch don't fall too far. Right?
The thing about it is though, who says Bronny is going to college? LeBron James is one of the smartest business minds in the world right now. Do you think he's going to send his son to college when he himself didn't go to college?
Who's to say he's going to be 6'8", 280 and able to? Yeah, it means that I have a choice.
We see all these other prospects, RJ Hampton. We see all these prospects foregoing college and going the overseas route. And they also do that because they have financial obligations to their families. Like they need to make money now. LeBron don't need to make no money, man. He can stay right in the crib with pops and
play video games.
No, you cannot.
Make the NBA off that merit.
That's not what we want. And I'm sure LeBron is saying that's not what we want. Go out there and get a job and make your own. I don't want you living off me. Of course, he's not bad.
He's gonna live off of him. I'm saying he's going.
You just said sit at home and play video games. You living off your dad.
The point is, he don't need college. He doesn't need college. He does not need college.
Everybody needs college. No.
Hey, Steve can never hide his hate for LeBron.
This isn't even about my LeBron hate. Honestly, I'm just saying it doesn't make sense. All right, so you're telling me if whoever is going to college right now and they sign to FaZe Clan, right? Mm-hmm. Let's just pick a KU player, Ochai. Right? Let's just say Ochai plays video games and he signs to FaZe Clan. What's the first thing that they're going to say? The NCAA.
Oh, they're going to
you're getting money. You're taking money. They're going to suspend him, right? So why is it okay for LeBron James' son to be able to do that as a high school player?
Yeah, because it's a new day and players being able to make make something off of their likeness and being able to take these these things. We've talked about it really the past 2 or 3 years. We talked about a lot of the players being suspended and losing games and losing eligibility, the whole nine. You speak about KU and the whole scandal. But even when we looked at the documentary on HBO from the Dawkins kid, he was the facilitator. The people making all the deals and doing the illegal things were the coaches. And that's why he didn't serve a day in prison, because, it was the coaches. But who saw the punishment for that? the guy that was the facilitator, the guy that, the low hanging fruit. So yeah, that institution does need to change. And yes, Bronny doing this, we need to introduce this gaming community to these kids, and especially the money that it can make, for underprivileged individuals, not necessarily Bronny being being underprivileged, but yes, let's open up this gate to these kids being able to sign these deals.
Because my son plays Fortnite, and I don't want him trying to get this. Well, take it back. Go get it.
Yeah, you do exactly. Wait. No. You see how it's different for a Walls instead of a James? I got it. All right.
Yeah, we understand, Steve. Yeah, we get you. Wink, wink. Yeah, we understand.
All right. NBA Players Association agrees to turn arenas into polling places. Hate it or love it.
I love it.
Yeah, I love it if any of these NBA arenas, the owners of these arenas aren't funding the political organization that's actually fighting for voter suppression. So it's a great thing if they open it up and make voting easier, make the democratic process easier. But then it's they're kind of doing just as bad if they're sending millions of dollars in donations and campaign funds to the people that are fighting to suppress the vote. So
Max, you took the words straight out of my mouth. I'm getting ready to riot right quick. Like,
yeah,
these owners, like we know where they, like, most of them stand, even if they don't ever say a word ever again.
Yeah.
We kind of know how they stand on an issue like this. So I think it was more the NBA like forcing their hand and saying, hey, like, we're doing this, like, this is the climate right now. Whether you like it or not, we're opening up our arenas to vote. So I think it's really good. I'm glad the NBA is trying their best to mirror the WNBA and get political. I mean, obviously, we've seen over the years athletes being told to shut up and dribble. Well, we're going to double down on this, and we're going to make sure that we are individuals and we have political beliefs, and we are humans that have beliefs. Like, we're not just for your entertainment. So I like it. I do like it.
Yeah, I definitely think it's a step in the right direction as long as it's with the right intentions. So.
Of course.
Chiefs wide receiver Mecole Hardman drops his Super Bowl ring during ceremony and tries to play it off. Hate it or love it. Let's take a look at the video.
Hey, y'all see me drop my ring? Y'all see that? Y'all gonna put it on there? Oh, y'all can't do that to me.
Yes, we saw you drop it.
The whole world saw you recording yourself drop it. So, yeah, at least his hands catching the football better than catching the ring, I guess. Because I don't seem to remember him dropping too many passes, but
that's the thing. He doesn't drop passes, but it is what it is. People have party fouls, but I send him a message. I say, man, how you drop the ring? But it was funny though, just because he was mic'd up, during the whole ceremony. So for you to drop the ring and you're mic'd up, that makes it even more fun.
Yeah, the mic just added pressure. He was nervous.
It had to be.
Cam Newton's ex Kia Proctor is reportedly seeking $15,000 a month in child support for their 4 children. Hate it or love it.
I need details before I speak on any of it.
Yeah, details. I mean, I love it. If she needs it, I mean, his kids might be high maintenance. We don't know what
how much is she asking for?
Proctor said her monthly spending includes $3,000 on household and grocery items, $2,966 on childcare, $2,640 on her card, and $666 on clothing. $300 on grooming, and another $416 on entertainment.
Do they have like 12 kids together or something?
4.
Oh, I won't. I'm gonna abstain from speaking.
There's nothing wrong with requesting child support, right?
Mhm.
I mean, you have 4 kids with Cam Newton, so there's nothing wrong with it. However, the amount I'd like to see, and I'm not even gonna touch that.
Not our business. Really, it's not.
Who am I to say how much she needs?
I think that was my overall point. I don't know what she needs to support kids of a of a former NFL MVP and and a Super Bowl quarterback. I don't know what type of lifestyle they had. I would assume that they have a pretty good lifestyle. And for their separation, I don't know what she needs to maintain that lifestyle. And especially for her children. I mean, I don't know if you all have seen Power, but I mean, when Tasha St. Patrick's left, she went to a little cruddy apartment. Going from a Manhattan high rise to a little cruddy apartment, can be tough. And especially on people like us that suffer from PTSD, especially from racism and different things. I don't know what she needs. For me, the rundown sounds like a lot. $300 a month for entertainment, but I mean, I don't have kids. I've never raised kids, so I don't know. So I've heard.
Expensive little jokers, I tell you that.
I was gonna say, Peyton didn't entertain himself quite a lot.
Yeah.
I would just say, whatever their relationship is, if Cam is okay with paying it, then who are we to speak on somebody else's funds? If Cam has a problem with it, I think they would just need to talk that out, and just do what adults do in situations like that. I just think that like I said, it sounds excessive, but we don't know their relationship. We don't know what point in their lives they're at right now. So she might really need that, and if so, I would be more. If I was Cam, mother of my children, I'd be more than happy to give that. So,
right. Vikings quarterback Kirk Cousins does not believe it masked work and says that he is at peace with the thought of contracting COVID-19. Says, "If I die, I die," Cousins said on Spotify's 10 Questions podcast. Hate it or love it.
I hate it.
Context. I don't want to bash somebody, but context, please. Like, was he joking? Was he serious? Was he did he say, "I don't care about anybody else"? But
He was serious. He was serious. And he of course, like everyone who makes an outlandish, insensitive statement, he backtracked and said, "Well, this is what I meant." He had a press conference earlier this week, and he basically said that, he said this back in July before training camp, before everything it was at its peak. And so
thank you. How long the pandemic going?
Exactly. Exactly. He might not remember, since he was so pained for not making the Super Bowl. But if I'm looking at this guy minus a Vikings jersey, I would expect a guy with this very punchable face to say, yes, that I think that I if I die, I die. If you die, so why are you out on the football field with a helmet and shoulder pads on?
Right.
That's
a choice. Take it all off. If you die, you die.
The thing about it too is it was very insensitive. The simple fact that there have been people that have died and people's family members have died. So you don't go around just saying, "If I die, I die." That's just saying you don't care.
Yeah. Oh, he cares. He cares, especially by the helmet that he wears on his head, and and the precautions he takes to tape things up. He's worried about it then, but he's not worried about a virus that has killed almost 200,000 people. Yeah, sure, guy.
One more time.
Nah, that was a goofy statement, really. That's just like what that is. Like, why would you say that? And you're an adult, actually. You're an adult man with kids and family members that are old, and like what?
I mean, it translates into his play, so you know.
Yeah.
All right. In memo, the NBA is warning playoff teams that they have to maintain order among ownership, front office executives, and player guests sitting courtside at playoff games in Orlando. Hate it or love it.
I hate it.
Yeah.
What do we mean order?
The NBA has concerns about the way that voices carry and can be picked up on television microphones in a contained environment. There have been isolated occasions when front office executives could be heard loudly disagreeing with the officials. The NBA has also warned owners and their families from disrespectfully addressing a game official, harassing or pursuing a game official before or after a game, or entering the official's locker room at any time.
So okay. We're not talking about Russ saying a couple of choice words after hitting a 3-pointer last night.
No.
That's not.
No,
we talking about Uncle Ray Ray yelling at the official like, "Hey man, you fouled my cousin." That's what word.
No, but you see the spin, because in the early part of what Jasmine said, you know, she said it was over concerns of NBA front office loudly disagreeing with referees. So the concern of the front office individuals and them not knowing how to behave themselves in a professional setting and at work, they turned it around to the players' families. You know, it's the families that have this concern, but it started because of a front office individual not knowing how to control themselves at work. So, you know, you see the spin for the headlines, you know, for people to talk, but you see the front office guy was not named and there was no team specific. All it was is that, hey, you know, since this guy did this, then we need to prevent the families from doing the same thing. Like, let's not go there.
Them families ain't finna say nothing. They have like most of them have kids, like holding kids. They're not. They're not too far. Like, it's clearly a problem of the front office individual. So
I definitely think it's an assumption, and I feel like, especially right now, families are just happy to be there in the first place, be able to take part. So they're not going to step on any toes, hopefully. So it is being reported that soccer star Neymar tests positive for coronavirus after Ibiza vacation. Hate it or love it.
How many times are we going to do this story with this person contracts coronavirus because of this event that they decided to?
However many times that there's a story out there, I'm gonna tell you why. Because you chose to take this vacation, right?
Yeah.
You know that there's a virus that's lingering out there that you cannot see, and so you're taking a vacation into another country and possibly can contract this virus. So.
I mean, is he trying to garner sympathy? Or is it just a report? Because I hope he's not.
No, so it's a report. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm finna say,
no, it is what it is. He gets a
dummy.
Jackie biopic to return to theaters after actor Chadwick Boseman's death. Hate it or love it.
Hate it.
Yeah, definitely hate it. You know, if they were, they would show this on TV for free, just like they did with Black Panther. But you know, Disney owns their rights to their movies and they can do what they want. But again, you know, it's sick capitalism. You know, a guy dies and it causes all this pain within a community. And then you say, hey, let's go take some money from them in a pandemic when when unemployment rates are historic and when we're pretty much in a financial depression outside of, Wall Street and the top 1%. But hey, let's go gouge them for some more money. People are crazy.
Yeah. Jimmy Butler blocks family from NBA bubble. This is a business trip. Hate it or love it.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Jimmy.
Jimmy is, if you serious, you know what you're down there for. You know you're trying to win a championship, NBA championship. So, hey, I'm telling my family, y'all need to stay at home. No matter if I've seen you in a month or 2 months, hey, I'm trying to win this ship, you know. So I'm leading my team, and that's how it is. Y'all gonna have to respect them. Plus, I just sat with you in quarantine for 3 months.
Yeah.
Steve.
That was yeah. Look, Steve feels the pain. Yeah, he is.
I'm weak.
He is.
Hey, I'm just in quarantine with y'all. Leave me alone.
Yeah. No, and that's definitely what it is. That's definitely what it is. You know, the way Jasmine gets on her dad's nerves is probably how Jimmy Butler's kids and family gets on his nerves. But again, you know, he's not married. So, you know, he has a girlfriend and a son. You know, hey, maybe he thinks they need more quality time together. Who knows?
That's plenty of alone time for him too. So
to each his or her own. Also,
hey, I just want to get these buckets. Let me chill.
Because we just talked about Paul George. All jokes aside, he said he was going through it. He said he needed somebody there. He needed his family there to, you know, just support him in this time. And Jimmy Butler, on the other hand, says, "Hey, that's not how I operate. I'm here because I need to focus just on this." And so it's just kind of, you know, to each his or her own. Obviously, me being a big Jimmy Butler fan, I love it, and I think it makes him that much tighter compared to every other NBA player. But I also think that, you know, if that's what you need in order to be successful, in order to drop 30 to win, you know, an NBA championship, maybe you need your family there. But
I'd like to see his IG DMs after 10 p.m. the last 60 days.
Oh yeah, we know. Like Stephen A. said earlier, probably a month or two ago, when he was like, "Hey man, these brothers, they have needs. They have needs as well. So I mean, it's not being met. Who knows what kind of craziness will occur?" So hopefully Jimmy stays hinged and doesn't go off the deep end.
Right. The NFL and NFL Players Association unveiled a series of social injustice initiatives on Thursday, including a commitment to close team facilities on November 3rd for Election Day. Hate it or love it.
I love it.
I love it.
Love it. But same point with the donations to, you know, Republican campaigns that are trying to suppress the vote. So, and we know plenty of NFL owners make those donations religiously. So.
DraftKings shares soar after Michael Jordan becomes an investor and advisor. Hate it or love it.
Oh, I love it.
Michael Jordan. Oh,
I love it. Yeah, it's going to bring more, I guess, notoriety to DraftKings. A lot of people don't even really. It's going to bring some youth to DraftKings. Let me just put it that way. People that are, well, how did you have to be to gamble? 18, 21. So I mean, it's going to bring that youth. The people that follow Jordan will follow him to DraftKings.
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
All right. I think
you know what? It's DraftKings is crazy too, because there's those people that don't know about DraftKings, right? But then they also do fantasy draft, so it'll bring those people in as well. And
yeah, definitely.
We have some before we get off here. We have some talk about it, you know, content real quick, because Patrick Mahomes, he of course was engaged. What was it, Wednesday night, as a part of the championship ceremony? He got engaged to his longtime girlfriend, Brittany Mahomes. But our topic this week for talk about it is, should Patrick Mahomes have a prenup?
I don't want to talk about
it. You know, I think they've been together since high school sweethearts. So me personally, I think if she was in it for the wrong reasons, she wouldn't have been around this long. So I'm going to go with no.
I mean, her dad was a professional athlete too, so he got to go on the road and see all of that. So maybe she saw the potential. But no, it's good for Patrick. I don't even want to speak bad about this union, or even joke about it. Because like she said, they've been together since high school, so she's kind of been there through a lot. But the same thing with Russell Wilson's girlfriend that now is an ex. And he seems to be doing well in life. So Pat, there's an opportunity that that union ends. But again, I don't even want to speak on that because Pat seems happy. He keeps her involved. And they're always around each other like you would expect a couple to be. And if you're a Chiefs fan, you want him to be happy and you don't want to see that union end because, it could be a Tiger Woods type spiral. And I'm sure Chiefs fans don't want to see that.
Exactly. All right, last one. Has anyone figured out what we should be doing while we are someone is singing happy birthday to us?
Oh, really?
Dang.
Have you figured that one out?
So what's this? 3 years or 4 years?
When? For someone to sing happy birthday to you?
Yeah. No.
He's asking what should you do, the person, right?
What should you do while someone is singing happy birthday to you? So are you there and you're like, you got the cake they're bringing out, candles are lit. What are you supposed to be doing while they're singing?
You're supposed to be organizing the choir. Make sure the altos are altoing. Make sure the what's the
sopranos,
the
sopranos and the altos. Yeah.
Make sure they
hilarious
correctly.
Nah, I just sit there. I'm like, it's kind of that weird feeling like everybody's just looking at you. And you don't want to make eye contact with just one person, so you just kind of scan the room real quick.
Yeah.
You know what the most awkward thing about that is? Have you ever had your birthday sung to you by like your office, like a bunch of people you semi don't really know, but they say, "Hey, it's your birthday" in like a meeting? Oh man,
that would be Applebee's when people come up clapping and you're like, "Oh, okay."
I'm mad at whoever did that to me. If you do that to me at like a restaurant,
just give me my brownie and let me be cool.
Yeah.
All right, that's the show for today. What do you guys have going on for the rest of the day?
Hanging out. Probably going to go check out the mural being painted on 18th and Vine.
Mm-hmm. They have one going up right down the street from my house, actually.
Mm-hmm. Really?
So, yeah. There's 6 around the city, so go check that. Check those out.
I'm gonna definitely check that. Who's the mural of?
It's a Black Lives Matter mural.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
All right, we appreciate everybody who joined in on the show today. We appreciate everyone who likes us on Facebook. Remember, get out and vote. Register to vote if you have not done so yet. Until next week, we are out of here.
Peace.
The opinions expressed in the W Radio Show by the host, co-host, guests, and call-in listeners are solely the opinions and responsibility of the original source who expressed them. They do not represent the opinions of the W Show, 100.1 FM, One Kansas City Radio, Sideline Sports Talk, Team Wall Street Foundation, or affiliates.